Hi all, I wanted to make a quick video to share with you that not next week, but the week after, we are doing CDAs for the district. And we're only going to do literacy just to expose them to a little bit at a time, and because literacy is our area of need. And so I wanted to emphasize to you first that in the email, I am including a list of CDA stems by grade level. So I went through each CDA test and found by standard some language that was used again and again. So we have at least 1 week where we can start exposing them to those stems or creating assignments with questions using those stems and really talking about those. And of course, we can do that throughout the year too, even after the CDA. And I feel like that's not something we've done before. We, of course, do this with the EOG, but less with our district assessments. And I think there's power in doing both. So yeah, and then I'm also going to add to my email standards that are most prevalent. 3rd, 4th, and 5 only have 22 questions, just as an FYI. 4th grade, you are the only one that has poetry, and you have a lot of drag and drop, just tons of technology enhanced questions, so just be aware of that. Okay, 2 things I really wanted to say to you today is some hacks, okay, for teaching testing with literacy. The first is when you're doing a question like this that requires them to find evidence. So what statement is a fact about rice supported by this selection? They need to literally go and find which one is actually supported in the text. So anytime they're trying to find evidence, for 3rd graders especially, and 4th graders, they can start to freeze at the idea of finding evidence if the passage itself is long. So I always like to tell kids to find a key word to search for. So for example, for this one, I might say, all right, as we go to analyze and to look for some specific evidence to support what's true here, let's start looking around for that word, specifically that word rice, because that seems to be what's the focus of this sentence. So let's go and look for that as we're just trying to find something first. And so that's just one thing to bring up to them. So if you notice they're kind of like taking forever to find evidence, that's a really good practice. Simple, but really helpful. The other is this thing that's happening here with question 21. Oh, excuse me. No, not that. 22. Kids sometimes think that every question is an evidence question. Wrong. So this case, the evidence is provided. The answers themselves are the evidence. So I don't need to go back and look in the passage. In fact, that's a waste of my time. So I teach kids anytime the answers start with quotes, I don't need to be going back to the passage. The evidence is all here. So all of my work and energy needs to go into really analyzing each answer to see which one directly goes back to what I'm trying to find in the question. Trying to think. Oh, the other thing I like to say to kids about these is try not to look at an answer choice and to make associations. So for example, let's say there's an answer choice and let's say it's number 1 here, like letter A. And let's say the answer to the question, like the correct answer, actually is in the story close, like literally close to this statement. So sometimes because they read the story, they'll go, oh, I associate that because they happened around the same time. But I always like to tell kids, I want you to think about these as if you haven't actually read the story. So you're going to treat these as if this is all that you have. So if you're saying these quotes, pretend this is all you have. So they don't make associations, and all they're doing is focusing on what is actually here and present in this answer. So just 2 hacks that I think are actually really powerful and important.